Tiffany Henyard vows the show will go on.
You told us on Election Day we haven't heard the last of you. What's next for you?
It's a lot next for me.
We're now witnessing the dramatic collapse of a scandal-filled legacy one that people in this town will be analyzing and debating for generations. As we've shown time and time again, the once untouchable reign of Super Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard is finally falling apart. She's been officially removed from her position in the village of Dalton. Thornton Township has cut her off entirely, and very soon, her entire political career will be nothing but a memory. But just when it seemed like things were settling down, another explosive twist has emerged. You might remember when it was first reported that Henyard was making somewhere between $250,000 and $300,000 a year by holding 2 government positions at the same time. Well, it turns out that number wasn't even close to the truth. A new audit has revealed that her real income soared well past the $300,000 mark. And the most shocking detail, she had a sneaky little system in place that paid her an extra $600 every time she left town or even just crossed state lines. That's right, every time she traveled, always flying first class. Of course, she cashed in hundreds more in taxpayer dollars just for being away. Basically, she turned public funds into her own personal travel piggy bank. It's outrageous, no question. But maybe the craziest part, even with all the lawsuits, audits, and non-stop public criticism, there are still hardcore Henyard supporters, standing firmly by her side. And some of them, they're making excuses. So absurd, it'll leave you speechless. The level of denial they're operating on is truly in a league of its own.
She's doing what men have been doing for years as far as her security and all those things. She needs that.
She give back to the community, so, what more can people ask for?
Let me make this crystal clear. The people of Dalton truly deserve credit. Yes, they made a mistake by electing Tiffany A. Henyard in the first place. But what makes them different? They saw the red flags early and didn't waste time. They came together, took a stand, and launched a recall campaign as soon as her real behavior started to surface. The unfortunate part, that recall was shut down and court tossed out by a judge who effectively silenced the will of the people. But did that stop the residents of Dalton? Not even close. They stayed loud, they stayed unified, and ultimately, they did what needed to be done. When Election Day arrived, they didn't just vote her out, they obliterated her. Trustee Jason House won the mayoral seat in a staggering landslide, something like 88-2. That wasn't just a political victory, it was a thunderous statement. A total rejection of everything the so-called supermayor had come to symbolize. Now, let's not kid ourselves, some people in town are still walking around in denial, completely lost. And if you're one of those still whining that this is all happening because Tiffany's a woman doing what men have always done, let's be honest, you missed the entire message. This isn't about gender. It's about lies, corruption, and betraying the very community she claimed to serve. But okay, enough with the setup. Before we get into the final act, the farewell fit for a disgraced queen, let's unpack exactly how her whole empire came crashing down.
Me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
Self-proclaimed Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard leaves office in the next few weeks after being badly beaten at the ballot box. Questionable spending, clashes with trustees, and an ongoing FBI investigation led to her
Local media has just unveiled the full story behind the spectacular downfall of the so-called super mayor, laying out exactly why her reign is officially over. And let's be honest, if I tried to cover every detail in this one video, we'd be here for hours and nobody's got time for that. That's exactly why, like always, I've dropped the full Super Mayor playlist for you right here on the card and down in the description. Nearly 30 videos breaking down every chaotic twist from her time in power in both Dalton and Thornton Township. But today we're diving into the newest headlines, the most jaw-dropping fresh-off-the-press updates. And don't fall for her tired old routine where she waves it off as just rumors or yells fake news. This isn't hearsay. This is confirmed, documented fact. Turns out, her salary was even more bloated than anyone imagined, because she milked every single benefit for everything it was worth.
I love y'all. There's nothing you can do about it.
The curtain will soon close on the Tiffany Henyard show, but not before one last dance.
Supervisor,
Oh, stop it.
come on now.
Come on, be with
People want to know what's next for
us.
you.
What's next? Why you out here? Why are you out here?
We were there for Henyard's final food giveaway and a new tally of what she's cost taxpayers. On Easter weekend, cars lined up for blocks. Tens of thousands of tax dollars spent for another one of Henyard's famous food.
Now this part you absolutely need to hear. Every single food box handed out during those so-called giveaways had Tiffany Henyard's name printed in bold across the top. Classic PR move from the supermayor. These so-called community events, they were nothing more than staged photo ops. Heard her go-to lines a dozen times. Everything we do is for the people. And she never misses a moment to remind everyone it's the mayor doing the work, not those lazy trustees. She constantly brags about her team working late into the night, till 11 or 12, while supposedly everyone else is slacking. Every ordinance they approve is either for personal gain or to line their lawyers. Pockets not, for the benefit of residents. But let's be honest, that whole For the People Act, straight out of the authoritarian playbook, drain public funds, take advantage of every perk, live lavishly off government dollars, then toss back crumbs and expect applause. She lines people up for so-called free food, but it was never free. That food was paid for with the same tax dollars she was bleeding dry, and she twisted it to look like generosity. Her face is plastered across every billboard in town, trying to play the role of a hometown hero, but the mask slipped. That's why she's gone out of both positions. And even on the way out, she's still draining public resources, handing out leftovers like she's doing people a favor. And here's the wildest part: some of the same people who couldn't stand her before are now standing in line for the free food. Because, well, free is free. And honestly, that cracks me up. I've never supported her and never will, but if she's handing out dinner, I'm not saying no. People are out here saying, yeah, she's shady, but I'm still getting my plate. Everyone knows she's taken more than she ever returned in groceries. Even some local media tried to defend her reckless spending, calling it impactful. But let's be real, most of those initiatives were just PR campaigns to get her name on everything and soak up attention. Then the budget details dropped hand. They were absolutely staggering. Henyard raked in over $347,000 last year from her. 2 government jobs in Dalton and Thornton Township, that's more than the mayor of Chicago makes. To break it down, she pulled $282,000 from the township alone, on top of a $4,900 monthly expense allowance and an $1,100 car stipend. Meanwhile, Dalton residents footed the bill for not 1 but 2 SUVs, vehicles meant for law enforcement, repurposed as her personal rides. Just from Thornton, she took in $225,000, another $50,000 from Dalton already, beating out the governor of Illinois' salary. But here's the jaw-dropper: she tacked on another $75,000 in extra benefits. And it gets worse. She billed both Dalton and Thornton for the same overlapping expenses while still collecting that monthly $4,900 allowance. And that car stipend? It was supposed to come from Thornton, but she made Dalton lease the vehicle under some truly outrageous terms. I've seen the paperwork myself, nearly $150,000 to lease a Chevy Tahoe. Dated December 27, 2022, a 2023 Chevy Tahoe with a sticker price of $93,216.71. But once you added in interest and fees, the lease ballooned to $149,146.20. That's over $50,000. In pure interest, because she didn't even try to negotiate, instead of using her car stipend properly, she pocketed it and shoved the lease cost onto Dalton taxpayers. Sure, she throws fancy parties and flashy giveaway events, but underneath all the glitter, she was quietly draining the community dry, not just with her sky-high salary, but also with nearly $6,000 a month in benefits funneled straight into her pocket. Since losing re-election, Tiffany Henyard hasn't attended a single board meeting. Ask her about it, and she dodges the questions, till bitter about the loss. It's like if a president lost in November but refused to do the job until January. That's the kind of energy she's giving. Totally disengaged, but still cashing taxpayer-funded checks. Instead of leading, she's busy throwing parties, dancing on social media. Stephanie Weidman, who served in the township for over 20 years, came forward with a long list of Henyard's shady behavior. If Henyard had just taken responsibility, said, I messed up, some people might have moved on. But no, she turned it into a weekly soap opera. Then she played her favorite defense card. Why are y'all attacking a strong black woman? You should be ashamed. Seriously, that was the whole argument. Local news even aired footage of people yelling, "You're black, and you're attacking a black woman," as if that somehow erases corruption. And the crazy part, that clip they pulled it straight from my video. No credit, no vote out, just lazy copy-paste journalism. But let's keep it real. None of this should have surprised anyone. The signs were always there. Tiffany Henyard was never about serving Dalton or Thornton. Her true goal was building her own spotlight. So is it any wonder that someone making more than the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois combined would just vanish from the job? Chaos. There was an actual fight. She was throwing hands like real punches. WGN Investigates dropped a full expose showing that Henyard and her team spent over $100,000 on luxury travel on the taxpayer's dime. 5-star resorts, fancy dinners. It was a high-roller lifestyle billed straight to the community. Yeah, she really said that during a public meeting, and when pushed for answers, more dodging. Some of those expenses were for you. Really? Are we supposed to believe the average resident was sipping champagne and eating filet in Vegas? Come on now, no comment. Did you go to Vegas? Of course I did. Who paid for it? Not them. It was an absolute circus of contradictions. Even WGN looks desperate, now practically begging for the supermayor to return. And when a major outlet starts swiping clips from my content, that's when you know the media is falling apart. I'm just trying to tell the truth now. They're lifting my receipts. That's next level shameless. But the moment that says it all, Henyard smirking for the cameras while being grilled about her reckless spending like it's all just a game? That right there is why her fall was so massive. And guess who's left to clean it all up? Henyard and her crew were pulling in insane travel bonuses, $600 a day for out-of-state trips. That alone pushed her income far beyond $347,000. They were literally getting paid extra to leave town. One of her boldest schemes, charging personal expenses to township credit cards while also taking travel reimbursements without ever taking the trips. When her successor was asked about these ridiculous payouts, he brushed it off casually. Don't question it, just accept the cash. To be fair, I've given credit to Dalton's board of trustees and they earned it. They stood up to the supermayor and pushed for real change. He rode in on the wave of anti-Henyard backlash, and if you think he's any better, think again. He's just as shady, only quieter, smoother, and much harder to pin down. So if you live in Thornton Township, don't celebrate just yet. This isn't like Dalton, where residents are starting to clean up the mess. In Thornton, it's still the same corrupt game, just with a fresh face and a better sales pitch after everything: the lies, the scandals, the fraud. People need to stay alert, keep showing up to meetings, keep asking questions, and remind these leaders that the public is watching. Insert applause, sound effect, and somehow, even after everything, the overspending, the fake charities, the federal investigations, and the literal boardroom brawls, Tiffany Henyard still has fans. I know, it's unbelievable. Some people are still cheering like she's some kind of icon. But let's be real, name one man who caused this much chaos for years and still had a job. Just one. I'll wait. It blows my mind that anyone's still riding for the supermayor. But I get it, some public figures become larger than life. And even when their terms end, their legacies, especially the infamous ones, tend to stick around. Whether you admire her or can't stand her, Tiffany Henyard is going to be part of township history for a long time. But those are just my thoughts. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this chaos? Drop your opinions in the comments. Don't hold back. And if this video made you think, smash that like button, hit subscribe for more deep dives. Follow me on social.